Welcome back to your favorite spoken English channel, Vision Spoken English. The old house on the hill had been abandoned for decades. Everyone in the town knew the stories, the rumors of strange sightings, eerie sounds, and missing people. But no one had dared to go near it, except for one group of friends: Sam, Lisa, Rahul, and Mira. They were determined to uncover the truth behind the legends. What started as a fun adventure soon became something much more terrifying. It was a foggy evening when they finally decided to explore the mansion. The massive iron gates creaked as they pushed them open. The air was thick with moisture, and the dense fog made it impossible to see more than a few feet ahead. As they approached the house, its dark, towering structure loomed over them, almost as if it were alive, waiting. Rahul, always the brave one, led the way up the cracked stone steps to the front door. "Ready?" he asked, turning to the others. Sam shrugged. Lisa nervously bit her lip, and Mira stood frozen, clutching her phone for light. With a shove, the door groaned open, revealing a long, dusty hallway lit only by the faint moonlight seeping through the broken windows. Every step they took echoed through the empty space as though the house was listening. The air inside was stale, thick with the scent of decay and time. They began exploring, cautiously opening doors to find empty rooms covered in cobwebs. The deeper they went, the colder it became. The house seemed endless, with more corridors and rooms than they'd anticipated. Lisa spotted an old rusted chandelier hanging above them, swaying gently as though stirred by an unseen force. Did anyone else feel that she whispered, her voice trembling? Suddenly, a loud bang echoed through the house. They all froze. "What was that?" Sam asked, his voice barely audible. "It came from upstairs," Mira said, her flashlight shaking in her hand. Rahul, always curious, took a deep breath. "We have to check it out." Reluctantly, they made their way up the creaky, narrow staircase, each step groaning under their weight. At the top of the stairs, they saw a long hallway with a single door at the end. From the moment they stepped onto the second floor, the atmosphere shifted. It felt oppressive, like something was watching them. The door at the end was slightly ajar, and cold air seemed to be pouring out from the gap. "We shouldn't go in there," Lisa whispered, her instincts screaming to turn back, but Rahul pushed ahead and the others reluctantly followed. As they reached the door, they hesitated. "On three," Rahul said, gripping the doorknob. "1, 2. Before he could say 3, the door creaked open on its own. They all stepped back, fear tightening in their chests. Inside was an old, decrepit bedroom. The walls were cracked and the furniture was covered in dust. But what stood out the most was the large mirror on the far wall. It was spotless, completely untouched by time or decay. "That's weird," Sam muttered, stepping closer. "How is this mirror so clean?" Rahul moved closer too. "Maybe someone's been here recently." Just as they were about to inspect the mirror, a cold draft swept through the room and the door slammed shut behind them. Panic set in. Mira rushed to the door and pulled at the handle, but it wouldn't budge. "We're locked in," she cried, banging on the door. Suddenly, the mirror began to fog up. Slowly, letters began to form on its surface as if written by an invisible hand. "You're not alone." Everyone backed away in horror. "What the—" Sam stammered, his voice shaking. The room grew colder, and they could hear faint whispers coming from the mirror. It was like a chorus of voices all speaking at once, too faint to understand but enough to send chills down their spines. Suddenly, Rahul's flashlight flickered and died. "Great now," what he muttered, tapping it in frustration. The room was plunged into near darkness, with only the faint glow of Mira's phone to guide them. Then, without warning, the mirror shattered. Glass flew across the room and the whispers grew louder. Lisa screamed as the temperature dropped even further, their breath visible in the icy air. Just as things seemed unbearable, the door swung open on its own. They didn't waste a second. All 4 of them bolted out of the room and down the stairs, their footsteps pounding against the floor as they raced toward the front door. But as they reached the main hall, they stopped dead in their tracks. Standing in the doorway was a figure. Tall, dark, and featureless, it blocked their path, unmoving. Rahul, acting on instinct, grabbed a nearby chair and hurled it toward the figure. It passed right through, shattering against the door behind it. The figure didn't move, but the air around them seemed to grow heavier. "We need to find another way out," Sam shouted, pulling the others toward the back of the house. They ran through the maze of corridors, desperate.